Thank you for listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bonatti, joined by Ethan Euchre.
I am here.
You are.
Yes.
And so is our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff.
And I'm excited that everybody out there is listening. Thank you.
Yes,
Indeed.
and world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonatti. Thank you for sharing your time.
We are excited.
As are we. We love to hear uplifting stories of people overcoming adversity and achieving the American dream. And there aren't many people quite as inspiring as our next guest. Joining us right now is Dr. Arun Singh, author of Your Heart, My Hands, an immigrant's remarkable journey to become one of America's preeminent cardiac surgeons. Thank you for being here, Dr. Singh.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
I loved listening to your story because I think there's so many parallels between your story and my husband's story of how he came to the United States. And why don't we talk about that? Let's start off on your incredible journey. But what happened to you as a child that could have prevented you from actually achieving your dreams?
You know, I was born in India. I grew up there, and I faced a lot of headwinds. Some of it was cultural, some of the familiar issue, and some was my creation of my rebellious nature. One day I escaped out my backyard and climbed the guava trees, and when I was ready to fetch the guava, a monkey came right there, right on my face, trying to fetch the guava too.
Oh.
I suddenly saw a square jaw, big face, sticking out his tongue, as well as his fang-like teeth, right on my face. I got scared. I was 10 feet up on the ground, and I let my branch go. I was holding on, so I fell on the rock underneath, and my face was completely smashed. I had a skull fracture, and then also had destroyed my right elbow, which had a severe injury. I was unconscious, and this is a small town in India, in a village. So I was taken to the dispensary, and where they showed me up, and then I had to travel 150 miles away for further care. For many years, I had lost the function of my hand. I could not move my hand. I had a nerve injury. My hand was stiff. I could not hold a piece of paper or write with a pencil. So basically, my hand was completely destroyed. And I was tutored in home for 5 years by my mom, who was only 10th grade educated. So here I was. You need a hand to do most of the things.
Yes.
And that would have disqualified my doing anything. And here I am, a few years later. I became a heart surgeon, which required the highest dexterity and mobility of the fingers at the highest order.
So my question is, how did you recover the use of your hand?
Well, it was all my mom and the doctors. It required 3-4 procedures. Finally, my hand was flexed and stiff, and I needed to rehab. Most of the people you go here in this country, we didn't have in India a rehabilitation facility like you have it, weightlifting, elastic band, ultrasound, heat massage. So how did we do that? My mom, with the help of an orthopedic surgeon, they came up with an idea that I will carry bricks in my bag, and it did the similar job, just like you're carrying a plate here in the weightlifting, 10-pound plate, 15-pound plate. I carried 1 brick, 2 bricks, 4 bricks eventually. Will tie down my elbow on my wrist, and I will drag that. I will stagger down the street like an inmate in penal colony.
Yeah.
I sobbed, I cried, but I did every day. Then I will also, Mom will lift me up, and I held my crossbar of the window. I'll hang around the bar for half an hour every day. So that was my routine, and gradually my hand got better and started some mobility. I started playing a carom board. So eventually my mobility of the fingers and hand got better, and I missed out all the schooling, middle school, elementary school. I went to school when I was 10 years old. I missed all the schooling. And when I went to the college, I struggled because I was tutored in the home, and I had a difficulty getting things around, comprehending it, understanding it. So I didn't know at those days what was the diagnosis. Later on, I did fine in the school, and I studied very hard in school and got into medical school. When I got into medical school, I had a very difficult time again. But again, we did not know the diagnosis. Later on, I found out that I had a severe case of dyslexia.
Wow.
So, but I did study pretty hard days and nights to get hold of and get over this problem.
Now, Dr. Singh, so that's another obstacle you had to overcome, a horrific injury to your hands. You would think somebody with that type of damage that you had to your hands is obviously never going to become a surgeon at all, let alone evolve into one of the preeminent cardiac surgeons in the world. So let's just jump ahead a little bit. And so on top of that, you were also dyslexic, you find out. So
right.
What made you want to decide to leave this rural small town in India and come to the United States?
There were two reasons for me to leaving India. One was I had a very difficult time, a hardship in the family, and when I graduated medical school, coming to the United States was two advantages. One, I would get salary while we're getting trained, so I could send money to support my family. And second, I could get a better training here. The training in America was better than anywhere else in the world, as you all know about it.
Was it like culture shock when you came to the United
I
States?
came in the 60s. Here I'm coming from the Eastern culture to the Western culture. I had not known anybody. I faced everything, different race, different religion, different culture, the disappointment, discouragement, discrimination, racism, everything. But, I was focused. I was determined to do what I wanted to do, and that's what I was doing it. I kind of neglected everything else what was going around it. I was focused.
And you had $5 in your pocket coming to the United States.
When I came to the United States, I had $5, the best money I ever held, and that was Mr. Lincoln. I kept in the pocket, and I keep putting my hand in the pocket, make sure Mr. Lincoln does not escape.
Good old Abe.
When I went from the Worcester airport to the hospital, it cost me $3.25 for a taxi ride and $1.50 to send a telegram to my family, say arrive safely. So when I woke up the next morning, I had a quarter left.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
How did you get past that? I mean, obviously your inner will to want to succeed.
Despite all the problem, my mom installed me a positive attitude, and I was determined, focused, driven, whatever the word you wanted. I had a great hard work.
Yes.
And I overcome all these obstacles.
You keep hearing about dreamers and living off the government, and here you were wanting so badly to be part of the American dream and achieving it through your own blood, sweat, and tears.
I said to everybody, you hear about the American dream is gone. I would say the other way around. American is still alive. Work hard. Have a grit. Have a determination. Be prepared to have some failure. I didn't succeed every time I did.
Right.
I didn't succeed every time I did surgery, but I was determined, focused. And if you do that, you will overcome the obstacle.
And I also think it's interesting that at first you wanted to become, was it an orthopedic surgeon, but then
That's absolutely right, because there was no heart surgery.
Yes.
At least I didn't know about much in the 60s, even in India, and even in this country, very few were done. So I was not exposed to a heart surgery. The only surgeon I was exposed as a child, it was the orthopedic surgeon, because I spent so much time with having a fracture in my hand. So I wanted to be orthopedic surgeon. When I came to this country, I was only 125 pounds, and I was dealing with 250-pound patients. I couldn't mobilize their joints. I couldn't lift them up, pick them up, and move around. I needed to go to the gym and eat more. That would have done it.
What I want to know is, did you ever get revenge on that damn monkey? No?
The monkey got the guava. He got a better side on me.
You overcame all of these obstacles that we've already listed and went on to become, you did over 15,000 open heart surgeries, more than just about anybody in history. It's a pretty commendable story, so we appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much.
Make sure you stay tuned. Coming up after this break, a story of recovery.